Hi guys, so today I'm going to do a book review video on 6 books and 1 play. The first 5 are a series of books, and I don't know if it's because I've read a lot of V.C. Andrews' series of books before, but this one wasn't good. At least to me it wasn't good. And this is the Logan series. And this whole series, except for the last 2 books, are about this girl, this teenage girl who goes to live with her other family because something tragic happens, and she has to figure out this mystery that's surrounding her. And then the last 2 books are about her real grandmother and her and another girl. So the first book in the series, most of them all have, if you read any of the V.C. Andrews series of books, you know that each series has some kind of, theme to it with the titles. Like, this one's music. There's one about a tree, I think, and then there's one about gems and flowers and stuff. So this one is the first in the series, and it's called Melody. And what this book is about, it's like the setup for the whole series. So, it's about this girl named Melody. Her dad died, and her mom, I think, is like a hairdresser or something. And she decides that they're going to go live with her, she wants to go see her other family, which is like her dad's family. Because she never knew them, she never got to see them while she was growing up, anything like that, for a reason. So they go to live with her family, and as they're going to live with them, her mother's boyfriend or something decides that they're going to go and live this separate life where they're going to go and make her mom like a movie star, a model, something like that. So she gets stuck with her family that she doesn't know anything about, and she hates them. And she decides that, and then her grandmother in this book decides to tell her that her dad isn't her real dad. So the whole point in this book was she's trying to figure out who her real dad is. So this book is about, this is the second book in the series, and it's called Heart Song. This is what it looks like. This book is about her mother dies in a car accident. And she finds out that her dad could be this judge's kid that her grandmother knows, because her grandmother isn't her real grandmother. It's a long story. And she decides that she's going to go work for him, so she's trying to figure out who her dad is in this book. And she has to figure out who her dad is anyway. And then I think she works for the guy, and the guy says, I'm not your dad. I don't know who your real dad is because your mother slept with, everybody in the world or something. So that's how the second book ends with, she thinks her mom died in a car accident, but then her friends from the place she used to live before she lived with her family, she gives her this magazine clipping, and this woman in it looks like her mother. So she's going to go try and find her. So that's what this third book in the series is about, Unfinished Symphony. This is the conclusion of Melody's story, so she's not in the next 2 books. So this is Unfinished Symphony, and what this is about she goes to find her mother. And she finds her, and she lives with her mother for a little bit, but things don't turn out so good because her mother's boyfriend, doesn't like her and tries to make her into a star, but not the kind of star quality you would think of. So then her uncle is dying or something, so she goes back to the place where she lived with her uncle and her aunt and stuff like that. And at the end of that book, her grandmother starts to die, and she tells her who her real dad is. So the third book is like who figuring out about who her real dad is at the end. So usually in V.C. Andrews books, there's 5, and usually in V.C. Andrews series of books, occasionally 2 of the books at the end of the series, like the 4th and the 5th book, are, I think there's like twice where the 4th and the 5th book are about different characters, like a prelude or a prelude to the whole series. And then the rest of the series of books, the last book is always the one that's like the prelude. So it's either about like the girl's mother, the girl's grandmother, the girl's dad, stuff like that. So the last 2 in these books are like the preludes. This is before Melody even came onto the scene. And this book is about Laura, and Laura was her uncle and aunt's daughter that she figures out what happens to her in the last book, the Unfinished Symphony book with her in it. So this book is basically about her side of what happened. So it's basically in her point of view. So this is called Music in the Night, and this is about Laura. And what this book is about, it's about her and her boyfriend decide to go out on this boat. Because they live in Cape Cod. They live in Cape Cod, and there's a really bad storm, and he dies, and she's still left. Then she forgets everything about herself. So her grandmother decides to put her in like a mental institution or something. So the second half of the book is her way of trying to get out of this insane asylum or something, whatever you want to call it. So the last book in the series is called Olivia, and Olivia is the grandmother. That's what it looks like. So basically what that book is about is basically just like their grandmother's life, like her grandma, like Laura's grandmother is Olivia, but Melody's real grandmother is Belinda, Olivia's sister. So it's basically about those 2 clashing together in this book. And that's it. Like, it really wasn't that good of a series, in my opinion, because I just thought it was, like, really boring, because it's about, like, the same exact thing in most of her books, where, like, she has to figure out who her real dad is, or who her real mom is, or whatever, and then, like, people they date are, like, they're half-brothers and stuff. It's just weird. So, if you never liked the Twilight series, I mean, I thought the Twilight series was okay, and I'm not dissing anybody who likes Twilight series, but I got this book like a really long time ago. I think I got it at a book sale, and this is a parody on Twilight, and it's by the Harvard Lampoon, and this is called Nightlight, and this is what it looks like. It's a short book. There's only, I think, like 8 chapters in it, and there's 154 pages. I finished this in a day. This is what it looks like. It's basically just like, it's basically a condensed version of the Twilight books, except it's a parody. So it's sort of weird. Like, I didn't think it was funny, but I just like this because I do like to read parodies. And the one parody that I think I've read a lot of books on is the Twilight books. But, yeah, so if you really don't like Twilight, or maybe you want to, like, have a good laugh or something, read Nightlight, because that is funny. In certain parts. This is the William Shakespeare's play, Richard III, and before I get into it, I'm going to say this play is the longest play I've ever read. And it's because there are so many monologues and soliloquies. They're like really, really long. So if you don't like long plays, or you don't like long soliloquies or monologues, do not read this play. I mean, it is good, but it's just the monologues and the soliloquies are really tough to get through. This book's like, this is the Signet Classic one, and, you know, like, if you read books, and these plays, and they're by different things, different companies, they are a little bit different in sort of ways. Like, this one, it's not just a play, it's like an introduction and an introduction to the play and everything else. But I just read the play part. This is what it looks like. And basically what it is, it's this, Richard. He's not king yet in the beginning of the play. And he wants to be king, so he starts killing off all of his relatives and stuff to become king. And it is a tragedy, I guess. Yeah, it's a tragedy. So it's basically just about him becoming king and the aftermath of that. It's not really like, it's just like a very specific play. It's not like whatever, but there are lots of characters in this book that are like, they have the same name. Like, there's a King Edward, there's a Prince Edward, that's his brother, and there's a young Prince Edward, and there's a Henry VI, and there's a Henry VII. It's all confusing. Some of it's really confusing if you don't really pay attention. But I give this book review video like an iffy thing, because it is iffy, these books. Comment below and tell me some of your favorite books for this month. Give this video a thumbs up, like this video, comment below, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.